What is being triggered? What does it mean if you're triggered? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about what it is. If you have autism or ADHD, or you're neurodiverse, or you're NT, you've probably heard the term trigger being tossed around lately. Maybe you've been on some Facebook groups and you've seen posts where people say, trigger warning. If such and such triggers you, don't read it. Or you might have met a person who've literally said, I feel triggered right now. Well, what does being triggered mean exactly? Well, being triggered is when something in the present moment reminds you of something in the past that the person reminds them of trauma that is unresolved and not fully healed yet. This can include a person not wanting to drive because driving reminds them of a car accident, or a person not wanting to fly because it reminds them of a plane crash they've experienced. People who often experience these things often have what's called CPTSD. Also, people can also be triggered from past events that is associated with childhood trauma. This can include being neglected as a kid or being abused as a kid emotionally and physically, and this can cause them to be triggered in the current situations such as bad customer service. Bad customer service can annoy anybody, but it can particularly annoy a person even more, make someone angry for several days because say a waiter forgets to serve you a drink, it can remind you of being neglected as a kid. Now, how do you heal from the trauma that causes triggers? Well, one way to heal from childhood trauma that can cause triggers is mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation is being aware of your thoughts and not trying to fight them. It can be a little bit scary at first. It can be something you may not want to do, but if you trust and try not to fight these feelings and just allow these feelings to bubble up the way they naturally do and allow it to pass, you'll then realize that these thoughts won't hurt you, and you'll become less and less negatively affected by these thoughts, and they'll just the suffering attached feelings that you get from these thoughts will just eventually pass, and you'll eventually resolve from the trauma and heal from the trauma. Another way you can heal from trauma is understanding the nature of your inner child. Your inner child is a younger version of yourself. It's literally your kid version of yourself. And a lot of times trauma or abuse from family or traumatic situations in the past can cause your inner child to be wounded, and then your inner child will run you in certain situations. Like, again, the bad service at the restaurant, your inner child will suddenly run you in that situation and cause you to be way more upset than normal because your inner child is now acting on the memory of being neglected as a kid. Now, if you parent your inner child and let your inner child know that these situations in the present moment aren't actually the traumatic events that you've dealt with as a kid, that these situations aren't your abusive parents, your inner child will then learn that these situations in the present moment are different. You'll begin to realize that maybe the waiter is just having a bad day, or maybe they just simply forgot because it's been busy, instead of just automatically assuming that they're neglecting you. Another way you can heal from childhood trauma that's causing triggers is seeing a therapist. Therapist is something that I recommend the most. Therapists are experts that will help you dig down deep and release things in the best way for you. A lot of therapists will do what's called cognitive behavioral therapy and other methods that can help. Well, I hope this is helpful. Again, letting go of trauma isn't a one-day thing. It can take several days, several years, so just be patient and be kind to yourself. Well, I hope this video is helpful. Thank you for watching.